Good morning. I want to welcome you to the first Eurofuel NORA Technology Workshop that was put together jointly between the National Oil Heat Research Alliance and Eurofuel. We were essentially trying to reposition the conference in light of the COVID and take the opportunity to do a joint conference so we could hear the best of Europe and the best of the United States. As this conference begins, we have 165 participants from 18 countries. We will be conducting this as a webinar, so any questions should be submitted by typing them in at the bottom of your screen, and we'll either try to answer those visually by typing an answer or orally if there's time at the end of a speaker's presentation. We will be conducting this webinar in accordance with laws of both the European Union, the respective countries, and the United States. Generally, that means we're going to try to ensure that antitrust or anti-competitive laws and norms are not breached. To that end, we will not discuss pricing with competitors. Discussions about pricing will only be historical and never about future prices. We will not discuss dividing or allocating customers, markets, or territories with a competitor. We will not discuss how to affect or restrict the resale activity of a customer or attempt to control the customer's resale price. We will also not discuss how changes will affect downstream pricing. The National Oil Heat Research Alliance was established by Act of Congress in 2001. Under that Act of Congress, NORA collects 0.2 cents a gallon on every gallon of heating oil sold in the United States and uses it for various activities, all established by Congress. The first and maybe the most important is education and consumer education. Essentially, under those categories, NORA prepares training manuals, video training, runs an education certification site, all for the service professionals in the industry. We also do television, radio, social media outreach to our customers to ensure they understand the value of oil heat. We have our active research and development program where we look at new technologies, work with manufacturers to bring new technologies, higher efficient equipment into the industry. And finally, we do energy efficiency. Essentially, we are giving rebates of between $200 and $500 to customers who upgrade their equipment to higher efficiency equipment or replace their tanks to moving generally from underground tanks to above ground protected tanks. A couple of years ago, we were able to open a research laboratory, which is led by our lab director, Dr. Tom Butcher. We have 4 employees there who work on energy efficiency matters, work on biofuels, and contribute a lot to the knowledge we have in this industry. The U.S. heating oil market has about 5 billion gallons of fuel sold, which probably means we have 6 to 7 million residential customers using it. Our distribution system is a little different than Europe's in that most of the distribution is done by independent companies, from Eric Slifka of Global, who you will hear from, who runs a terminaling company and distribution company, to the local companies that supply to residential customers, generally delivering 4 loads and around 200 to 175 gallons per load, monitor the weather and their customers' use so they can continuously supply them. And then I want to also focus on the heating oil retailer. In the United States, this is a company that, as I said, delivers 3 to 4 times to each customer, but is also responsible for the installation and maintenance of the equipment in each customer's home. So they have a fairly big role in both the HVAC side of the business, maintaining equipment, as well as delivering fuel.
A warm welcome to everybody from Europe, the United States, and to visitors from other regions. Looking at today's program, I'm impressed by the collected expertise gathered here. We are deeply honored to welcome you to this first session, which will be dedicated to policy. Policy making is not the same in the United States and in Europe. The instruments, objectives, and end results differ in several cases. But we see policies from other countries inspiring decision makers somewhere else. This is why it's so relevant for both European and American stakeholders to get to know what kind of policies are being developed on the other side of the Atlantic. As president of the European Heating Oil Association Eurofuel, let me give you some background on the sector in Europe. Heating oil provides a secure and reliable source of heat for 20 million homes in the European Union, especially in rural areas. Such locations usually are not connected to the gas grid and have a limited electricity network. Off-grid people need efficient and socially acceptable solutions that help to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Eurofuel is committed to technology-oriented solutions in the heating sector that ensure that people have affordable ways to save energy. Looking at Eurofuel's future vision, we count on highly efficient heating technology and a targeted reduction in consumption through thermal insulation in the first step. Second step is the increased use of renewable energy sources in hybrid systems. And in the third step, it is renewable liquid fuels that will reduce greenhouse gases in the long term. The goal is to reach the target by 2050. This is our vision for the future. Today, speakers will guide us through the policies that may make or break this vision.